how to become the ultimate middleman, how to be in a sandwich of talent and leverage other people's experience, life experience to make your vision come reality. When I made the shift from lawn care to hardscaping and patios, I had no idea what I was doing when I was building these patios. I had to go and find somebody that knew exactly what they were doing and leverage their life experience. That way, I didn't have to exhaust my time and my energy trying to figure all this stuff out. Why not just go to the very best guy? And now I've gotten myself into a position in my hardscape construction business where I have an amazing designer that designs me six-figure projects, stuff that it would take me so long to learn how to design these projects. And I have an amazing contractor to where when I get these jobs, now I can give it to him and I have full confidence that it's going to get done perfectly. So I've gotten myself in this sandwich of talent. And this is what I want to share to you guys today: how to do this, why it's important, and how to work on the business rather than in the business. So, if we look at some of the most successful people in the world, we have Henry Ford. He didn't invent the car or the mass production line. He mastered it, and he delegated the specific tasks to skilled workers, skilled suppliers, and he focused on the systems and the vision of the business. And most entrepreneurs that I've met, it almost looks as if they're lazy. Like their days are, they'll go for walks, they'll meditate. And somebody that doesn't have this knowledge, that's working really hard because they think that that's what it takes, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this guy isn't doing anything. But the entrepreneur, his job is to think. The richest people in the world get paid to think. And so they don't want to consume themselves with busy tasks. They want to do things that allow them to connect with spirit and have, the vision and be connected to the purpose of the business. And so Henry Ford delegated some of these things. That way he could focus on the systems and higher leverage thoughts, activities. Same with Elon Musk. He's not an engineer with every aspect of the business. He's not going in there and putting the seatbelts in his cars. He's finding the engineers to execute his vision. And he gathers talent, and he focuses on the vision of the business and where it's going. And so, same with Ray Kroc. He didn't invent fast food. He did not go and cook all these burgers. He saw the potential with McDonald's, and he actually created a franchise model and leveraged other business owners to come and operate these franchises for him. He was focused on market share and growth of his company and expansion. He let other people run it. He focused on the systems and the bigger vision of the process. These guys are all ultra successful billionaires, multi millionaires, and this is what they did in their business. Now I know what you might be thinking. You might have limiting beliefs that start to arise immediately, like, hey, I'm not Elon Musk. Hey, I don't have money to delegate. If I hire somebody, they're going to take all my profit. Nobody can do this as well as I can. I'm the only one that knows how to do this in my business. Good people are hard to find. Does this sound familiar? Do you have people around you that are saying these things? Because I did too. And that's why I just got this apartment right here, is because I need to be locked in with nothing external hitting me. I want to control what's coming into my mind. Why? Because I know that my mind is a garden. And I know that the thoughts that I'm thinking and the belief systems that I have, that's gonna put the echo into the world, and that's what reality is gonna give back to me. I was just on a sales call with one of my clients in my landscape business yesterday, and the entire time he just had a massive scarcity around money, and he had a lot of emotions tied up onto these belief systems that 2,000 is a lot of money. Well, if you think 2,000 is a lot of money, then it's always going to be a lot of money for you. You have to change what you believe, and you have to change the information that's coming in. All of this is BS, and all of these guys really started with nothing. I know that Ray Kroc started with nothing. He came from a poor family. Henry Ford started with, he got rejected a ton of times. Elon Musk, I'm not really sure his background, but I'm sure he wasn't a billionaire or came from a billionaire family. Another good example of this is Sarah Blakely. I actually listened to her speak at Growth Conference. She started with 5 grand and she built Spanx, which is a woman's clothing brand, and sold it for $1 billion. She was the first female or the youngest female billionaire in the world. And at the start, she didn't have money to delegate, but she was scrappy. She was handling the product development, going into supplies or going into retail centers and asking to pitch her product. She was doing all the sales. She was very scrappy, doing everything in the business and stacking capital on the side. And instead of being a consumer with the money that she was getting in, she was being a good steward, and she held the money back. That way she could invest it into the business. The money that's coming in from the business is not always yours. You have to put it in accounts and then set yourself a salary of 1,000 a week, 500 a week, 2 grand a week, depending on how much cash flow you're coming in, and live based off of that. And then take quarterly profit pulls. You can't just drain the bank account because the business needs that money to grow. Sarah, she had all the limiting beliefs that we are dealing with. And it's not like all of these guys had these limiting beliefs, but you have to overcome it, and you can't hold these as beliefs or that's just going to rule your life. She learned how to create systems and delegate tasks. She started with small stuff like packaging, but as the company grew, she trusted more and more people, like for production and distribution. And then she got herself into a position to where she could focus on the vision of the company, and she empowered others to take ownership of all the small details. And she had systems and processes that allowed her to step out of that spot. And she also surrounded herself with experts and trusted advisors who had all the skills and knowledge that she lacked. So the key takeaways are, in the beginning, you have to get scrappy. You have to work on the business while in the business, and you want to stay lean. Don't bring on these big hires that are going to stress you out. Accumulate the cash. Once it makes sense, then bring on somebody, but think strategically how you can get somebody on without draining your cash flow. And then you want to get into a spot where you can focus on the vision and the long-term growth of the business rather than the day-to-day tasks. And it's just overcoming belief systems to get there. How do you apply this in the landscape construction business or any of these service businesses? In my case, I gathered a Rolodex of contractors. That way all my eggs aren't in one basket. I wanted multiple guys around me that could build these patios. I don't know how to build them. I hired employees. They didn't know how to do it. They told me they did. It cost me a lot of money. It was going to cost me tons of money to build out this team. And it was going to take me a lot of time to build out this team when I could just go get a project and then give it to a guy with 30 years of experience and sub him out. I'll handle all the materials, everything. You just handle the labor. It's exactly what I did. And I found my guys from posting on social media. I attracted them into my world through action. You can also find them in Facebook groups, supply stores. Every time you see a truck or a yard sign, go snag photos of it and then make a photo album in your phone of contractors. And so now every time you take a picture, put it in that album, and now you have a Rolodex of contractors. Also, when you see people at job sites, jump out of the car, go up, have the uncomfortable conversation. Hey, my name's Caleb James. I have a landscape construction business. Do you guys have a card on you? I'd love to see how we can help each other out in the future. And ideally, you want an owner-operator Mexican guy that doesn't have an office staff, doesn't have all this stuff, doesn't have big, massive fleets with trucks and logos, because you want to be this guy for him. You want to be the office guy for him. You want to be getting the jobs for him. And then you can build that relationship where it benefits both of you. I love this quote from the CEO of Starbucks. In life, you can be dealt bad cards, but you just keep shuffling the deck until you win. This guy, CEO of Starbucks, he was poor. And, he was turned down by multiple investors. But he instead of focusing on, getting the investors, since it wasn't working, he was focused on, how do I create a client that's a raving fan of my business? How do I create clients that'll go and market and spread my company? And so that's a framework I've adopted in my landscape business too. When I was first starting out, I was focused on, okay, I'm getting money from these guys. But now, instead of that, I focus on, how do I create a raving fan of my business? How, when I interact with this client, are they never going to forget my company, my service? And how are they always going to come to me in the future when they have stuff? And how are they going to go and spread my business to the 100, 200, 300 people they're in close contact with? That is the winning framework. After you build a Rolodex of contractors, you need a local construction mentor. Somebody, when you're on job sites and a homeowner has a good question, you're going to write this question down because you can use them on your website for frequently asked questions. And it's good to study these questions when they come up. You want to have them written down and then ask people with experience. So you need a mentor that has experience in the landscape industry. They're out there. They're in your area. Don't think that they won't. Don't think that they're not, because it's only going to prevent your growth. They're there. You just need to go find him. And you need to find a designer. There's no way I could have designed this project for me. So I got this client through spending Facebook ads. I'm leveraging money to get people coming in. And now when people come in, I send them off to a guy with 30 years of experience to build this estimate for me. I then go to a supply store. They give me my material list. I'm inputting it all into my software. It's giving me a number. I'm going and finding a contractor that has the experience to build all this. I'm having him estimate it for me. Boom, I plug it all together, and I'm an investor on the money of the job, and I'm getting a return of 35%, 40% on my money. And so I'm leveraged. See how I've gotten myself in this sandwich? You need a designer that can do this for you. I tell my clients, hey, look, if you guys don't have a design, perfect. We need one. How can I estimate it if I don't have a design? We can do it for you, or you can do it. Either way, we just need a design. That way I can give you an accurate estimate, preferably something that's to scale with all the elevations and is perfectly labeled. If you guys want us to do it, I work with a guy that went to a college and has been doing this for 30 years. We'd love to handle it for you. We only charge for the design if you take the design and go to either another contractor or choose to do the project yourself. Other than that, I want you to have the design because the project's going to look better, and it'll make it's going to look better over 10, 15 years because it's to scale. All the plants are taken into consideration at full growth. So all of this stuff is important. How do you find these guys? How do you find the designer and the local construction guy? Well, local supply stores are the best place because most of these guys that are working there, like the hardscape guy that's in charge of selling the hardscape products, he probably has experience on a landscape business. So ask him. And then who does he know that he could point you to? And then you go down that rabbit hole. You can post in Facebook groups. Hey, I need a guy that can do landscape designs. Who can build me a paper patio? Push, push, push. And then you'll maybe find some guy. He may not be your target, or he might not be the right fit, but he'll point you in the direction of somebody else. And then you just keep going down the rabbit holes. You can also go and ask other landscape companies in your local area, hey, who's doing your designs? I need somebody that can help me do designs. Maybe that designer that they're working with isn't on staff with them, and they're just kind of a contractor that now, they're willing to give you that designer's name too, because they're not selfish and they want that designer to have more business, more income, and a better life. So they're going to let you do it. You just have to ask questions. Uncomfortable situation. The next thing is you want to leverage systems, software, and processes. So while you're working on the business, you need to work in the business. There's a great book, E-Myth, I recommend you guys all go and listen to, and it breaks this whole concept down of the entrepreneurial myth. And it's you're not an entrepreneur if you're still a technician or if you're still a manager. An entrepreneur, like I mentioned earlier, is focused on the vision and the growth of the business. They're not putting the bolts into the car. They're not planting the trees. The softwares that I utilize in my business are Buildertrend. That's the project management estimating software, Lead Activities. It's a very in-depth software that is unbelievable. It's on the more expensive end. If you're just starting out, when I first started out, I used QuickBooks to estimate my projects, and I used Pipedrive to manage my sales. And another software I utilize is Go High Level. This is where, if you were to go on my website and go into our form, boom, it'd come into Go High Level. All my Facebook ads, Instagram ads, boom, they go into Go High Level. And so all of my leads go into Go High Level, and then I have automation set up that is getting these clients to book onto my calendars. I have, automatic SMS messages that are sending to them, automatic emails with my calendar to get them to book. And so you want to learn how to leverage software, and you want to build systems by, when you're doing tasks throughout the day, start writing stuff down. What am I doing? Okay, I had to get on there and call 1-800-DIGSAFE. I had to do this. I had to do that. Okay, well, that's your process. That's your system. What processes should you build for your business? Lead acquisition. How are you getting your clients? Okay, once you get the client, how do you go from phone call to check? There's a process between there. If you want to give it to somebody else to do it, you have to have a process. And if you want to improve, you have to have something for you to test and to improve. Because if you're just doing everything by chance every single time, there's no way that you can get better. But if you had a system that you were following and then you had resistance in that part of the system, you could tweak it and study it and ask for help. And then also, how is the client, how are you onboarding the client? Are you setting them up in a group chat with your project management and crew lead? And then what text message are you sending? And are you giving them a breakdown of how stuff works, or are you not? When you're offboarding, are you going to get them chocolates, flowers? Are you going to ask for a Google review? Are you going to make sure that they're happy? What's that process look like? Project management. Is the job site going to get cleaned up every day? Are you guys going to leave trash on the project? Is there going to be a yard sign in the front yard? What does this stuff look like? When do you take the yard sign out of the project? Financial management. Okay, when the contractor is going to all these supply stores, where are all those receipts going? Does he have a stapler and a folder to keep it organized for you? Okay, then once you get that stuff, how are you going to track the project to figure out your net income on that job? Okay, how are you going to know your net income of the month? You have to have all this stuff dialed in. That way, if you onboard an admin, they can help take some of these little data entry tasks and maybe just send you the reports. Marketing. Should you guys be taking Instagram stories on job sites? Should you be shooting reels? What do the reels look like? How do you edit them? What's the most important part of the reel? Is it the hook? Okay, well then let's reverse engineer hooks. When should we reverse engineer hooks? Should we do it on Monday? That way we're set for the week. Should we schedule posts out and use ChatGPT to build captions? All of these things are important. Employee contractor management. How do we manage the contractor? What does that relationship look like? What are you saying to him? All of these things need to be processed and documented in your business for you to scale and grow. This is the first step. A lot of people overlook this. That's fine. They're just going to have to get to a point in their business where they have enough pain of doing the day-to-day tasks where they're going to be forced to do this, or you could just do it now. The final thing to keep you in the spot of this ultimate middleman is your attitude, your vision, and your energy. Because all these guys around you, I'm 20 years old, and the people that are around me are 40, 50. How are they going to trust you and buy into you and want to help you out? You have to have a positive attitude and a massive vision and high energy, and then you'll attract these people into your life. And if you show up every day and you do what you're going to do and you get results, you land projects, you give your contractors $100,000 projects, you give your designers and your local construction mentors actual results, and what they're teaching you is working, they're going to want to keep helping you out. So you need results. You need a massive vision that people can buy into and resonate with. And you need to have a high positive energy. When stuff happens, see it as an opportunity to grow, because our reality is yin and yang. You need the dark stuff to grow. And so if you can tell your contractors that and show that, they're going to want to buy into what you're doing. And that's a key part of holding all this together. Immediate action that you guys can take. I want to send you guys off with stuff that can change your life now, because we're not going to wait a month from now to do stuff. We need to take action now, and we need to improve our lives now, because the future is just just a bunch of present moments stacked together. So let's plant seeds now that are going to reap or sow in the future. So you need to invest in your learning. You need to get around people that are doing what you want to do. This is the fast track to success. I've had multiple mentors. I have mentors right now that I'm still investing in. Why? Because now I get to tap into their energy. Now I get to see what they go through, ask them questions, see how they're running their business. I have a health mentor. I've had business mentors. I've had crypto mentors, all that stuff. Real estate mentors. I need it all. I want it all. I'm investing my money into their knowledge and expertise. That way I don't have to spend time. I'd rather spend money than time. Why? Because you can't get time back, but they print money. They print money every year. So I know that that's an infinite resource. Money isn't a supply issue. It's a mindset issue. So let me tap into the mindsets that attract money into my life abundantly. Weekly reflection. What'd you do good? What'd you do bad? What can you improve? And then also energy boosting, positive energy routines. This morning I woke up and I meditated, and then I read, and then I stretched, and then I had coffee, and boom, I'm in a positive energy. Now I can approach my day with a lot of this energy, and I've prepped my day for when stuff comes up. I can handle it. You want to network and connect with people in your local area. You need construction mentors, you need designers, and you need contractors. That's going to take action. You need 10 contractors. You need 2 construction mentors, and you need 2 designers. Build the list, go and get them. Then identify your weekly vision. What are your weekly targets? Do you want to post on social media every day? Do you want to hit 180 grams of protein every day? Do you want to post a YouTube video every day? Do you want to hit the gym 5 days a week? Do you want to close 1 deal a week? Do you want 20 leads a week? Do you want 60 leads a week? You need to know what you're doing, and then you need to know if you're hitting it or if you're not hitting it, and that's going to keep you accountable and hold you accountable to growth. If you don't have the targets, you're just going to move sideways like everybody else. Quarterly vision. What do you want to achieve this quarter? Every quarter is a new sprint. 90 days can change your life. What are you going to do in this quarter 4 to change your life? What are you going to do in quarter 1 to change your life? What's the yearly vision look like? You should already be planning out what you want 2025 to look like. What's that year going to feel like, look like? What are your main targets? If you don't set these things in place, you're going to drift sideways like everybody else. What I want you to know is once you get yourself into this middleman position, it's not just a passive role where you're sitting back with your feet up on a desk. It's the key to unlocking full potential of everybody around you. You need to lead with vision, act with energy, and build with purpose.